Urban woke up that Saturday morning with a skull-splitting Windsor and weed hangover and exactly 17 cents to his name. The whiskey had hit hard, but the weed made everything fuzzy around the edges, that special kind of morning after fog, where your brain feels wrapped in cotton and every sound is too loud. The state fair was calling, but his wallet was emptier than his prospects. That's when he remembered the young blood video he'd watched the night before in his cross-faded stupor, something about a black fingernail trend that was supposedly taking off. Standing outside his neighbor's door, Urban felt that familiar knot in his stomach. This wasn't the first time he'd come begging. There was the 20 for groceries last month, the 15 for gas before that, the 10 for laundry quarters. His neighbor had this supernatural ability to say yes every single time, never making Urban feel like the financial disaster he clearly was. "Hey, could I borrow $3? Urban asked, already cringing internally. "I've got this idea for the fair." His neighbor didn't even hesitate, just reached into their pocket like they'd been expecting this exact moment. Urban realized later they probably had been this saint of a human being, who seemed to keep a mental urban emergency fund ready for deployment, knowing exactly when desperation would hit. Walking away with those 3 crumpled bills, Urban carried the weight of every unpaid debt. Someday, he promised himself for the 100th time. Someday I'll pay them back everything. That $3, combined with Urban's 17 cents, barely covered the $20 booth rental between Mabel's funnel cake paradise and the ring toss game. Urban painted his pinky fingernail black with nail polish. He found in a gas station bathroom and set up his cardboard sign, "Premium High Fives 5R each." The first customer was 8-year-old Timmy Henderson, who approached with wide eyes and 5 crumpled dollar bills. Urban delivered the most enthusiastic high five in carnival history, complete with personalized chant, confetti, and a ceremonial bell. Timmy walked away glowing like he'd just met his hero. Within an hour, something electric started happening. Kids began pointing at Urban's black fingernail, whispering to their parents about the cool guy with the special finger. That trickle became a stream, then a flood. Parents were bringing their children specifically to see the black fingernail man. Teenagers started showing up, then college kids, then adults who claimed they were just checking it out for their nephew. The line kept growing past 3 game booths, then 4. Urban had to develop crowd control using carnival rope he borrowed from the ring toss guy. Mabel from the funnel cake stand started directing overflow traffic his way, eventually offering a partnership, high fives with every purchase. But here's where it got really interesting. The carnival employees started getting their own black fingernails. First, it was just solidarity with Urban's success. But then something deeper happened. That single black fingernail became their badge of honor, proof they were part of something special. They wore it home, to grocery stores, to their day jobs. People would recognize it instantly and know, "Oh, you work at the fair where that thing started." The employees loved carrying that piece of carnival magic everywhere, when they were stuck in traffic or dealing with mundane life stuff. They'd look down at that fingernail and remember they were part of the phenomenon that started as one hungover guy's last-ditch scheme. As evening approached and the fair lights flickered on, Urban realized he was trapped by his own success. The line stretched past multiple booths now, and people were taking photos of his fingernail, posting videos of their premium high-five experience. When the carnival announced closing time over the loudspeaker, Urban still had 30 people waiting. The fair workers started shutting down rides around him, but his booth stayed lit. Security guards came by twice, saw the orderly crowd, and just shrugged. Urban didn't leave until they literally turned off his booth lights at midnight, having delivered high fives for 14 straight hours. His hand was cramped, his voice was hoarse from victory chants, but his pockets were stuffed with more cash than he'd seen in years. Meanwhile, those photos from that day hit social media like wildfire. The black fingernail trend exploded beyond the fairgrounds. Celebrities started sporting the look. Kindergarten teachers embraced it, and within months, Urban's accidental fashion statement appeared in the president's official portrait. But every night, walking past his neighbor's dark house with pockets full of cash, Urban felt that same guilt gnawing at him. $3 had become 3,000, then 30,000. But somehow those original debts felt impossible to repay. The lawnmower money, the grocery funds, the gas cash, it all haunted him. His neighbor would wave from their porch, completely oblivious to the empire they'd helped create with their pocket change and supernatural timing. Urban's high-five Emporium became carnival legend, spawning franchises and cultural movements worldwide. But the real story was simpler. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest waves. And sometimes the people who change the world are too guilty about borrowed lawnmower money to realize what they have accomplished.